Hello, students. Today is a very important day. Kashish Bakshi, All India rank 54, who was also part of our QIP program, and she has also taken mentorship and guidance with us, followed our study material, is with us today, and she'll share her strategy for UPSC preparation. She'll also take your doubts. So, for example, for more clarity, let's give Kashish a chance and a standing ovation if it's possible. Clap for her.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Kashish, you can start now.
Okay. I'm Kashish Bakshi. I'm AIR 54. I'm here to interact with all of you. I would like for this to be as interactive as possible. Some basic things about me. This is my third attempt. I'm a law graduate. My optional was philosophy. It was philosophy for all my attempts. This was my second mains, and I think that's about it. Uh, I think we can start with the preparation now. Don't spread out your sources too much. Have very limited sources, but do them so thoroughly that if anything from that topic is coming, you can just attempt it. You are sure of yourself because that stays. In the exam hall, you will not remember exactly something you've read, but that knowledge base remains with you if you've done it many times. For prelims, in my head, I was very clear that there are four big pillars and four smaller pillars in the sense that the syllabus for these four subjects is very vast and the syllabus for the next four subjects is not all that big, but the weightage is almost similar. I've come to these conclusions only because of the fact that I've analyzed the PYQs many, many times, and that is something I would suggest all of you to do, not just once. I think your cutoff should be the last 5 years question papers. So, for example, if you're taking the 2024 attempt, 2019, 20, 21, 22, 28, and 23, these 5 years PYQs, the full question paper, you should do as many times as possible after you've attempted. Your approach should be that you attempt it once and then you divide it into subjects and try to analyze what topics have been asked. So, my four big pillars were eco, polity, history, and geography. Four smaller pillars were science and tech, environment, IR, and anything current related which is miscellaneous in nature and you can't specifically put it in any of these pillars. I have done the compass, which is released every year before prelims. Before each prelim, I've done that compass at least 2-3 times. So that has been very helpful. I think it is absolutely relevant, to the point, succinct. It is very brief, and I found personally that questions were directly coming from that economics compass. So I would suggest that you go through it. Also, the Focus magazine that is released every month, that is also very good and should be referred to regularly. Another thing that I would like to mention for economics and polity is that if you analyze the past year question papers, you will come to the conclusion that polity especially is always the easiest part of the question paper. I have seen at least from 2017, you will have 10 to 15 questions from polity and they will be very easy and doable. They will be predictable. They will be from the basic syllabus that you are doing. They will not be very complicated. Obviously, 2-3 questions will be unpredictable, but most of the questions will be very doable, and that should be your uh, backup plan. Something that you can, if you are sitting for the prelims exam, and you should have this in mind that polity and eco is something I will know for sure because it is predictable and I'll be able to mark most of the questions that are being asked to me. Eco will not be that easy. It will be of a moderate difficulty level. But both of these will also have questions which are from your basic syllabus and not all that current driven. They will not be trivia type in nature. These questions will be very focused on your basic understanding of that subject itself. So eco will have application based questions, but it will not be something out of the blue completely. It will be from your basic source material. I've found that the compass is very, very helpful for eco. I cannot reiterate this enough. Compass magazine should be done again and again. Eco will be sorted that way. And also polity. Next, let's come to history. History, I found that children find history to be the most boring and lengthy, and I agree that it is also not very predictable and not easy even. The questions that, at least from 2017, what I saw was that ancient, medieval, and modern, you have to do all three. You can't predict that they are not going to ask medieval or they're not going to ask anything from ancient. You have to do all three of them, and the questions can be a little difficult and hard to do. But if you cover your basic sources properly, you will be at a pedestal where all candidates are. Some questions which are very tough, nobody will be able to do them. Probably even teachers will be stunned where this is coming from. So let's start with the basic source material. For ancient, I did the old NCRT R.S. Sharma. I think it is written in a very lucid manner. It's written almost like a novel. So I found it very easy to read. And there would be not more than 5, 6 facts on both pages. And I would write those down separately and I would read it like a novel. I did that many times for ancient. And that was my only source that I was relying on, my basic source material. And I would, in addition to that, do mocks, subject-wise mocks. If you're doing history mocks, you make notes for ancient separately. And I think more than that, if you spend time on ancient, if you try to predict where these author-related questions are coming from, and there are some questions which ask you to match the following books with ancient authors, I think don't think too much about that. Just do your basic source properly, do mocks and revise them, and move on. So I would do that for ancient. For medieval, again, I read the old NCRT Satish Chandra, that book. I did a few times. That is also written like a novel. It's a very easy read. That is a little heavy on facts, but I think medieval now is being asked more. I have taken 3 attempts, 2021, 2 and 3, and I found questions from medieval in all three of them. So again, just the old NCRT, my mocks, I made notes and I revised whatever I was coming across in mocks, because those questions are important, and also PYQs. For history, for other subjects, I would not suggest that you do PYQs repeatedly from 1990 onwards, but for history, जितने भी almost all that you are accessible, the subject wise PYQs का जो list होता है, do them repeatedly because they do get repeated. For modern, I did spectrum. I revised that many times. The one written by Mr. Ahir, and that was my only source, and mocks. For geography, I relied on new NCRTs, the 11th and 12th NCRTs that is available, that are also helpful just for a basic understanding of what the subject really is, and then supplement that with your mocks. And I feel for geography, you should be very thorough with mapping India and world, if that is on your tips, because a lot of questions on places in news are now a big thing. And I've seen the mapping sort of questions being asked very frequently. So that should be revised. And these are your 4 big pillars. These are subjects which are almost similar in the number of questions that are asked, 10 to 15 questions each year. And the smaller pillars also have the same weightage in the number of questions, but these subjects are going to take much more time for you to cover. And you should give these subjects the time that it demands, because they are going to figure in a big way in your mains. So but this is it for prelims preparation. The smaller pillars are science and tech. So let's take that up now. For science and tech, I relied solely on, again, Focus and Compass from RAU'S. I would do that magazine again and again, and also mocks. I would take subject specific mocks and revise them repeatedly. And science and tech is one subject which is absolutely current driven. The questions that will be asked will, almost all of them will be from topics that have been in news, and you don't need a big source for base material. So you can, I did the 11th and 12th biology NCERT book. There are no questions which ask you very complicated physics facts or chemistry or biology like that. They are just asking you about emerging technology, questions which are very generic and relevant according to current affairs. So that should be enough for science and tech. Then for environment is again a smaller pillow to cover, and it is absolutely current driven again. All questions that will be asked in environment and ecology are going to be from the news and current affairs, and not very subject core knowledge specific, but more of a general idea about the conventions that are happening and what are the programs in news, questions like those. So for that, I would again do the Compass magazine. I am, for each subject, I have done the Compass magazine before the one that is released. I would do it at least twice or thrice. And I have personally found questions coming directly from that magazine. So I found it to be really helpful. I would be rest assured that if I am doing these magazines, I will be able to solve by obviously some calculations, some questions maybe not directly from the magazine, but it will definitely help you to make a calculated guess and arrive at the right answer. So for environment, again, I would do that magazine and subject specific environment mocks. Do 2, 3 of them. The idea behind doing subject specific mocks is that if you're doing say 200, 300 questions of that subject, you are really first attempting that mock honestly, like you're actually attempting the exam, and then you revise that paper, the test that you've given. If you revise it 2, 3 times, if you have the time, make notes, then that also is a big base. Understand that revising mocks becomes almost like a source material for you. Your notes from those mocks should be something you go back to again and again and revise them, because mocks that are made by coaching classes, especially RAU'S IAS also has really good mocks. They take into account the topics that have been in news, they take into account previous year question papers, and they make your job easy for you. You don't have to then go around thinking, ye unpredictable, it is so difficult to understand where these questions are coming from. They're doing all of that for you. You just have to attempt them and keep revising them, and your knowledge will be, you will realize when you're in the exam hall that that has helped a lot. The questions that you saw in mocks are coming. They are in some way figuring in the actual exam. So for environment, I would do that. Likewise, for international relations, just the magazine and a few subject specific mocks, and I would keep revising that. कंपस मैगजीन, मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं था. मैंने राउज आईएएस की फाउंडेशन क्लासेस नहीं ली थी. मुझे नहीं पता था कि इतनी अच्छी बुक्स. इंसिडेंटली मैंने राउज की 2022 में फर्स्ट प्रीलिम्स मैंने अपना ग्रेजुएट होते ही दे दिया था. I graduated in 2021. I took my first prelims in 2021. I missed it by 3 marks. But I realized that my preparation was very haphazard. जैसे शायद आपका भी रहा होगा. तो उसको अब स्ट्रीमलाइन करने के लिए मुझे 1 महीने पहले, जस्ट बिफोर प्रीलिम्स 2022, मैंने टेस्ट सीरीज ली और मेरे घर पे ये मैगजीन्स आ गई, क्योंकि ये टेस्ट सीरीज के साथ मैगजीन्स अवेलेबल होती हैं. तो सिर्फ 1 महीना बचा था प्रीलिम्स को, और मेरा सेकंड प्रीलिम्स था ये, और मैंने सोच लिया कि ये मैगजीन्स अच्छी है, मैं ये कर लेती हूँ, मुझे हेल्प करेंगी. टाइम बिल्कुल भी नहीं था, और उस टाइम शायद 11 मैगजीन्स मिली थी. गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स की भी एक अलग मैगजीन बनी थी, बट मैंने वो सारी मैगजीन्स करी. और सच में 2022 के प्रीलिम्स में एटलीस्ट 25 क्वेश्चंस, जो अभी सुनने में इतना बड़ा नहीं लगता है, बट एग्जाम में बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं क्वेश्चंस, एटलीस्ट 25-30 क्वेश्चंस डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द मैगजीन्स. सो यू डू देम, आपका बहुत स्ट्रीमलाइन हो जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा, आपके ऊपर जो बर्डन है वो कम हो जाएगा अगर आप ये मैगजीन से कर रहे हो तो जीएस अपना, स्पेशली जो साइंस एंड टेक, इन्वायरमेंट, आईआर, इनके लिए तो बहुत ही ज्यादा हेल्पफुल है. आपको करंट अफेयर्स में फॉर और कुछ सोचने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. बाकी जीएस के जो बड़े बिग 4 पिलर्स जो जिन्हें मैं बोलती हूँ, उसमें आप अपना जो बेसिक सोर्स मटेरियल है उसको भी रिवाइज करिए, और फिर इसके बाद वो मैगजीन कर लीजिए, मॉक्स कर लीजिए सब्जेक्ट स्पेसिफिक एंड ओवरऑल, एंड उसको सबको बार बार रिवाइज करते रहिए. अभी 2 महीने बचे, बहुत ज्यादा टाइम है. आई ट्रूली बिलीव इसमें बहुत अच्छे से हो जाएगा.
Okay, thank you.
थैंक यू.